Alright, this is gonna be a fan fiction, whatever, but this is gonna be a very multiple part one, and just wanted to say that I will be mixing it up with my original and some of these. The author will be in the description below. Now let's just get into it. On a dark night in the city of Gotham, nothing really changes in this place. Everyone constantly look over their shoulders in fear as crime in an all-time rise. Robberies, murders, kidnappings, drive-bys, hijackings, gang wars, and so much more. The Gotham police were up to their necks in solving such crimes, as taking down one resulted in two more popping up out of nowhere. It doesn't make things better with some of the members letting the criminals go scot-free due to bribery or blackmail. However, the criminals may have had precautions against the law enforcers, but what they did not, or rather couldn't set up countermeasures for, was a certain man who shares a similar purpose with the police, but isn't a part of them whatsoever. This man works in the shadows, ready to pounce at them without them noticing. The last thing that any of his victims would see in his descent towards him with the appearance of a black predatory bat, and wake up later to find them tied up in front of a police station. Hence, everyone began to call the shadowing vigilante Batman, or the Dark Knight of Gotham. For as long as the people could remember, this dark hero has been solving numerous crimes and defeating many villains possessing powers beyond what no other human could go up against. And as time went, Batman was joined by several other heroes with the same purpose, names like Robin, Batgirl, and Nightwing, who was formerly the first Robin who, before passing the cowl to the second and left for another city. At the moment, a police radio is currently passing information to police cars of a regular crime for them to quickly move in and neutralize. All units, please be informed that there has been a robbery over at Calico's Jewelry, and the suspects are currently making their escape in a gateway vehicle, which is a blue 2016 Ford Transit van. One of the policemen picked up the radio and responded to the call. This is 8 Lincoln 30 to dispatch. We read you loud and clear. We're engaged in pursuit of the robbers. Over. They drove off in search of the robbers. However, what they did not know was that someone else was tapping into their communications, and we're currently seeing him perched on top of a tall tower spire with a wireless headset to his ears. Strange thing was that this person isn't Batman, but he isn't one of the other members of the Bat family either. This person currently wears a black outfit, a gray flake jacket, a forehead protector with a long black cloth, and black sandals. Over his also wore a hooded, short-sleeved red coat with a black flame patterned around the hem. And to top it all off is a white porcelain mask crafted to resemble a fox with long ears and red tribal markings on it. Looks like it's time to go to work, the mysterious figure muttered to himself before jumping off the tower spire with a swan dive. Upon drawing close to the ground, he stretched out an arm towards the building. Then a long gold chain shot out from his palm and pinned to the roof. Then he swung over to land on the nearby rooftop and ran along it to the end before performing a really long jump with a blue aura visible on his soles of his feet, and reached the next roof. He valued over the vents without losing speed and shot yet another golden chain at a tower spire before rappelling towards it at high speed, before shooting over it like a slingshot and descend towards yet another rooftop before landing with a roll and resuming his run. Elsewhere, the aforementioned van turned down an alleyway and stopped before a conspicuous garage. The door opened and several men jumped out wearing black clothing and black ski masks with smirks visible on their faces as they carried bags of jewelry from the van. This has been one of our easy and best scores yet. You said it, man. We made our getaway fast enough before the cops could even trace us, said another. Best of all, neither Batman nor his lackeys would be able to find us by the time we're long gone, said the third. They were about to approach the garage when several knives struck the ground. They are black diamond-shaped daggers with handles wrapped in bandages and small rings attached to the end of them. The robbers immediately took out guns and rifles and alert as they looked around and searched for the interloper. Suddenly, they heard someone whistle at them from above and quickly looked up to see a man in a weird outfit standing on the roof, looking down at them. Batman and his lackeys should be the least of your worries when making getaways, said the man. Who the hell are you? One of the robbers yelled. My name is none of your illegal business, he replied. Like we care since you're gonna die. Shoot him. All the gang members aimed their firearms at him and attacked. The man was riddled with bullets before plummeting to the ground and landing with a crash. The robbers laughed out loud upon seeing him. That guy's practically a greenhorn. Should have never taken the stupid hero business, said one of them. Suddenly he felt someone tap his shoulder. A familiar voice spoke from behind him. On the contrary, you and your friends are lousy shots. He turned around only for a gloved fist to smash into his face, resulting in a broken nose as an audible crunch was heard before being launched a few meters and crumbling to the ground, knocked out. The remaining robbers were stunned to see that the person whom they suddenly shot down is still alive, standing right next to them. What the? How are you still alive? The man shrugged. That's for me to know and for you to figure out in prison. He dashed off as the robbers shot at him rapidly. He was keeping pace ahead of their range of fire. Bang, 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 and then click, click, click. He smirked upon hearing that sound before making his way towards them. One of the robbers launched a straight punch, but he caught it in his palm of his hand before retaliating with a strong bottom hook, causing the robber to vomit and collapse to the ground. The masked man heard footsteps from behind and performed a backflip over his attacker before stomping on the head to dive him hard into the ground, knocking him out. His ears picked up the sound of a gun being reloaded and quickly reached into his pouch and flung a knife at his target. Ah! The last robber cried out in pain as the knife stabbed his hand, forcing him to drop the rifle. Next thing he knew was that the golden chain wrapped around his waist and pulled him towards the masked man, who had a fist reared back and waiting. Going up! The man lashed out with a devastating uppercut to launch the robber a couple of feet into the air, with the chain still attached. Coming down! Then he grabbed the chain and pulled hard to slam the robber hard into the ground. Then the masked figure looked around to see the criminals all knocked out and nodded in approval of all of the scene. Now, here's the annoying part. Cleaning up after them. About 20 minutes later, a fleet of police cars arrived at the area to see the robbers all tied up together with appears to be metallic wires and the bags of jewelry inside the van. Hey, I found something here. It looks like a note, said the policeman holding up a piece of paper. The captain approached the note and read it out loud. Here are the guys you were looking for. Things would have gone better for them if they simply studied hard at school and would have gotten a decent job. Don't you think? Your friendly neighborhood ninja, Zenko. Several of the policemen chuckled in amusement while some others were much more serious. That Zenko fella again, huh? Just who the heck is he? Is he friends with Batman? Asked one of the policemen. I don't know. Commissioner Gordon was informed by the Batman that he has no affiliation with Zenko. All we could get from the prisoners was that he fights like a ninja and seems to use golden chains. All in all, we'll need to bring him in for questioning to find out exactly who he is and what he wants. Yes, sir. Somewhere on top of the building, the masked man could be seen sitting on the ledge and watching over the city while letting out a sigh of boredom. It has been 4 months since we appeared here after the war, Naruto. Suddenly, a dark voice spoke up within the mind of the person who didn't react to it in shock. I know, Kurama. I searched for many ways to get us back home to our world and came up with nothing at all. The man pulled down the hood to reveal blonde spiky hair before taking off the mask to reveal a rather handsome face which possessed 3 whiskers like markings on each cheek, giving him the impression of a fox. We were right at the climax of the war against Madara before Kaguya entered the fray. Sasuke and I had it tough, but then we were able to place the seal that the Rikudo Sennin gave to us. But what we didn't take into account was the reaction afterwards. The sudden ejection of my brethren's chakra had caused some sort of reaction with your father's Harashin Kunai, which somehow warped us into this world. That's pretty much the gist of things. This world is pretty strange with how people are able to live without chakra, but they seem to make it up with technology that is way beyond our power. Naruto placed his chin on his palm, deep in thought. Let's not forget about the superheroes we've been hearing about. Yeah, like Superman, The Flash, Green Lantern, not to mention Batman owning this place in particular. Most of these guys got powers which could have counted as Kekkei Genkais in our world, and they use them to help people, which is an A-okay in my book, not to mention the supervillains whom they go up against, said Kurama. Naruto looked thoughtfully at the statement. Yeah, not all of them resort to crime for selfish reasons, unlike some who I've met back home. Kurama shrugged his shoulders before relaxing with the seal. So, what is your current plan? Well, I need to do some more training with the scrolls that Kasan and Tosan left behind for me. Me to inherit and master, not to mention mastering the 4 fangs of dragons too. I've been hearing their call for a while, but I was putting them off until now. I've picked the perfect place to train. Japan. Kurama said deadpan at this. Your main reason is because of the ramen there, isn't it? Details. Let's get a move on. Naruto put on his mask and hood before leaping off the building towards the temporary hideout to pack some of his stuff before making his way to the airport to sneak into a plane for a quick flight to his chosen destination. Alright, so if you made it to the end of the video, I appreciate you, watching it through. Now, what I'm going to say is that this is not an original made by me. This is actually on his own fan fiction. Yeah, it's very nice. And what I would say is that I would be like making videos on stories that I found while I'm also making my original ones. So I will publish ones that I read of fan fiction, and when I finish with the original ones, then I'll post those, so you still have some then to listen to. But I will also leave the author of this down in the description. Thank you for listening, and I hope that you enjoyed the video.